The John Wilkins Show is brought to you by Ace Specialties Incorporated, Allen & Sons Incorporated, Brad Allen, Vice President, Al's Mexican Food, 2215 East 42nd Street, American Auto Parts, 812 East 7th, American Auto Parts number 2, 434 South Grandview, Vasco Chemical and Supply Company Incorporated, Basin Testers, Boyle Sales Company, Bronco Chevrolet, Brown Electric Company, Carl's Meat Processing, Carwell Service Incorporated, Cobra Coating, Colonial Inn Motel, Abilene, Austin, and Monaghan, Commercial Radio, Continental Well Services Incorporated, Continental Tank Rental, L.C. Davis Builders, Desert Energy Equipment Incorporated, and Texas Commerce Bank of Odessa.
Panthers led 22-6 going into the fourth quarter, and then they marched down the field, combination of running and passing, coach, and it's always good to have a variety in your offense.
Well, we always try to mix it up, and this is an example of it right here. Well, Brent makes a real good throw right here. He had some pressure on him, and Roger Turner makes a good catch. And so we're off and going right here. Pretty good field position again. This is going to be, I believe, the
Troglin just down in the scoring position.
This is going to be a nice run by Mike right here. Some good blocking. Brent does a good job keeping them off balance.
Throws a great block here.
Knocks him right down. Boy, Mike really accelerated through the hole right there. And
we'll see this again in slow motion.
Okay.
And often you see a quarterback take out a linebacker. And it's like the fullback. He rolled in it. You'll see after he makes the pitch, he leads it into the hole.
Well, we tell him once they pitch the football on this particular play, they become just a pulling guard, and he did matter. First time I've noticed that, really. We'll have to point that out to him.
And then Kelly,
again, this,
option here.
Right, this is an option pass or run, and Brent does a good job leading us into the end zone. Big play for us, and that puts us ahead 28-6.
And that's the point made it 29-6. Turned out to be the final margin.
Right.
I guess the big thing also you may want to mention is because this upcoming game against Irvin is Friday, and you were able to put in your second stringers and give them a little time off to rest it.
Well, I think that's very important, of course, at this stage of the game. And, you know, we were talking during the break just then that this is going to be a very important week for us, mentally as much as anything else, because we didn't get back home last night, Saturday night or Sunday morning until 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And, you know, they're going to be up there Monday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so it's going to be, you know, we're going to have to leave Friday morning and go out to El Paso. So it's going to be a relatively short week and a very compact week for us. We don't have the luxury of having the 2 days off that we would normally have if we played on Friday night. So this is a big week for us in a lot of respects, and we've got a lot to do in a relatively short period of time. So we're going to have to ask our youngsters again to rise to the occasion. And like I said, you know, that helped us some last night by being able to play some of the youngsters, although it was relatively later in the game than we would like for it to be.
Had the injuries kind of earlier in the season. Fortunately, they're starting to heal up a little bit. Did you have any injuries come out of this game at all?
Not really. We got some bumps and bruises. I noticed some people complaining before I came down today, but I don't think it's anything at this time that should keep anybody out. Of course, Eddie was out there and play at all, and we're hoping that Eddie should be back and should probably be at 95 to 100% by Friday night.
Mentor played a good game. He almost had an interception yesterday.
Well, really, he almost had two. Of course, the last play of the game, obviously, but one I guess it was in the third quarter that he really should have had. But, you know, he just didn't get it and dropped it, and that's what happens sometimes. Of course, they had a couple they should have had, too, and they missed theirs, too. But that's part of the game, too. And Stacy's done a real good job for us playing the last 3 weeks.
Somebody also like to mention that you really don't see, I guess, two of your out receivers, Fugler and Turner, they've just, whenever you need a pass to them, they've been able to come through like the one we saw on the touchdown drive, and they need 9 or 10 yards. They're the ones to come through with a good catch.
Well, we've got some good receivers, we feel like. You know, the thing I think we have this year that we haven't had in some years past, we're more varied. We've got Strahan who can catch the football, a tight end can catch the football. We've got Fugler, of course, obviously a split end that can catch the football. Both our backs can catch the football. Of course, when we had Eddie in there at split end, he can catch the football. So, you know, we've got some people that can't zero in. There have been some years past that we only had basically 1 or 2 receivers, and you know, if you covered those and covered them well, then, you know, our passing game didn't go. But we've got some other people, they've got to cover the field, in other words, I think, which obviously makes it tougher to defend, and this has been a big part of our game.
Let's go to the other side of the ball. How about defensively? Had a fine season on defense. You mentioned a few names there because a lot of people don't hear anything but tackle by, and that's it. because you don't keep defensive statistics at all.
But I think our defensive football team has been a good football team this year. And, of course, our defensive tackles, James Laird and Dale Heath, have played well all year long. I think our two defensive ends have played well all year, Dalton Gladden and William Bruton. We've had some changes at linebacker simply because of injuries to Hager and this type of thing. Of course, Todd Odom has been a Woody linebacker all year long. Anthony Miller came in and started his first game Saturday night, and we thought he played well. Brett Hager, obviously, is a good football player, linebacker, and Jeff Harrington were playing there. Our two corners, Keith Metcalf and Ben Stringus, have done a good job, and our two safeties, Bobby Knott, and of course Eddie was there, although Eddie's missed the last 3 games. And I tell you that Stacey Meadows taking his place. So our defense, I think, has been real consistent. I don't think we've been spectacular by any means, but we've been consistent, and I think we're on the verge. I think we can be better than what we've been. I think we will be.
Well, we'll talk about the offense and defense and how they're going to do against the Irvin Rockets after this.
Kaz, my friend said he was, that you were trying to kill the person, that he was trying to
The John Wilkins Show is brought to you by Diamond Tank Rental Incorporated, Electric Service and Supply Incorporated, H&S Valve, Huddleston Equipment, Ignition Sales and Service Incorporated, Dale Leverett, Lubrication Service, Lesty's Western Store Incorporated, Melton Reynolds Insurance, Louis Montgomery Trucking Company, Murphy and Rochester Incorporated Real Estate and Insurance, Odessa Builders, Odessa Downtown Lions Club, Odessa Nut and Bolt, Odessa Savings Association, David C. Baum, President, Permian Bank and Trust, and Permian Rat Hole.